Hello peoples! Welcome back to another video! Today I'll be going over Tada's Ki-61-I, a battle rating 4.7 premium fighter flying for Japan. Please like and subscribe, it literally doesn't cost you anything, and as I am still a very small YouTuber, it genuinely does help me out a ton. Small intro, I know people don't like boring yap, so let's get into the interesting yap. The Kawasaki Ki-61-I, the Flying Swallow, was used by the Japanese Army Air Service in World War II, and was originally called the Army Type 3 fighter. Amazing name choice, good job Japan. Ki-61 started development in late 1940s. Development of the Ki-61 was postponed multiple times in favor of the development of the Ki-60, but eventually started, headed by Takeo Doi and Shin Owada. Although the Ki-61 was meant to be a light, low to medium altitude fighter, and the Ki-60 was meant to be a heavy fighter / specialized interceptor, Ki-61 inherited a few qualities from the lackluster Ki-60 design. Both aircraft were powered by the license-built Daimler-Benz DB601 liquid-cooled engines and had the same engine cowlings and rudders. The engine was called the HA-40 and at the time was a very powerful and highly praised engine. However, in the later years of the war, the engine was seen as unreliable and underpowered compared to the much more powerful radial engines being mounted on aircraft, like the Double Wasp 18-cylinder on the P-47. It was 30 kilograms lighter than the original DB601 and didn't require the extensive servicing, but it had problems of its own, like the fuel pump seizing at higher temperatures. The airframe was originally going to have a much larger wing, but after some fuselage redesigns making it thinner and longer, the wings were altered to make them longer and thinner too. The first prototype, designated Type 3 Fighter Model 1, first flew in December 1941 over Kagamigahara Airfield. The test pilots all showed enthusiasm and praise for the new self-sealing fuel tanks, expanded armament, and good performance, even though many higher-ups were questioning the plane considering its weight. To resolve the questioning, the Imperial Japanese Army Air Service put the Ki-61 into a fly-off against a Ki-43, a Ki-44, a Soviet Lag-3, a Messerschmitt Bf-109, and a captured P-40 Warhawk. In the flight, the Ki-61 proved to be faster than all of the aircraft, and was superior to all except the Ki-43 in terms of maneuverability. By the next year, the first Ki-61s rolled off the production line. During the Ki-61's first aero battles, it looked so distinctive and different from other traditional Japanese radial-engine fighters that the Allies had thought it was a new German or Italian fighter. It was first seen and was misidentified as a Bf-109 by a US AAF captain during the Doolittle raid of April 1942. Because of this, it was going to have the codename Mike, but it was changed to Tony because it looked more like an Italian aircraft. The first Sentai fully equipped with the Ki-61 was the 68th Sentai, based in Wewak, New Guinea. From there, the Ki-61 was added to the 17th, 18th, 19th, 23rd, 26th, 28th, 31st, 33rd, 53rd, 55th, 56th, 59th, 65th, 78th, 105th, and 244th Sentais. However, in 1943, when Allied Bomber Forces units were growing in size, more than 170 out of 200 Japanese aircraft based in the Wewak area were destroyed. At the end of the campaign, an estimated 2,300 Japanese aircraft were destroyed in bombing raids. A total of 12 variants of the Ki-61 were built, but many were built too late in the war to have a significant impact. Due to being underpowered and obsolete by the end of the war, all later variants didn't go into mass production due to funding issues and the war coming to an end. It was eventually retired in 1945. In War Thunder, we have Tada's Ki-61-I, a premium battle rating 4.7 aircraft flying for Japan. It cost 2,980 Golden Eagles to buy and 10,000 Silver Lines to crew it into a crew slot. It has a respectable top speed, great turn time, and good energy retention. The climb rate is pretty good too, but it's very slow while it climbs, barely reaching 300 km an hour in a 12 to 15 degree climb. I like to climb at 15 degrees from the airfield up to around 4,500 to 5,000 meters, and either boom and zoom or dogfight everything that's at my altitude. In the first engagement though, I just dive down lower throughout the dogfight, as it increases its turn time when it's closer to the deck. Just be careful not to dive too fast or too far in this thing. The wings have a high rip limit, but the elevators lock up hard above 675 km an hour. I actually don't like using the flaps with this plane, as it makes it lose speed very fast, and it doesn't give too much of an edge in combat. You can dogfight just about anything at this BR, including Spitfires and Zeros, if you're a capable enough pilot. Know your energy and you can rack up lots of kills. The Ki-61 has some potent armament. It features two nose-mounted 12.7mm HO-103 guns with 500 rounds total, and two wing-mounted MG-151 20mm cannons. I use the tracer belt for the 103s and the air target belt for the 20 mils, because they're full of Menenga rounds, which are super powerful and hit like a truck. You need to practice some trigger discipline with the 20 mils though. You only get 120 rounds per gun, and the high fire rate can empty the ammo quickly. Setting the gun convergence to 500 meters works best for me, and allows some nice centered hits when dogfighting. For suspended armament, you can carry two 50kg bombs, two 100kg bombs, or two 250kg bombs, and each bomb drops individually, so this plane is great for CAS when using 250kg bombs. I currently haven't played Japan ground though, so I haven't been able to use it as an actual CAS aircraft, but using the 250kg bombs lets you destroy just about every enemy, even on near miss. Visually, I quite like this plane. The paint skin is nice, based off Tada's Ki-61 of the 78th Sentai in New Guinea. The rounded spike on the propellers looks a bit weird, and the engine cowling has a strange shape, sloping downwards with a flat bottom. The wings are long and thin, and the fuselage is long and tall. Overall, pretty nice looking aircraft, a bit weird from the side. The cockpit is a bit suboptimal. A lot of bracing and rearward visibility is poor, but you get a good view over the nose and a nice gun sight, which is very accurate. The instruments are easy to read once you find them, but are in strange spots in the cockpit. I wouldn't really recommend playing this aircraft in sim battles or in VR. Landing is pretty easy, but you have to remember the landing gear and flaps are very weak, and will snap off at over like 300 km per hour. The brakes are strong, and I haven't had any problems with the plane flipping on landing. I take minimum fuel in each match, which is 22 minutes anyways, so minimum fuel will last you a full match in almost any circumstances. My conclusion on Tada's Ki-61-I. This aircraft is a very, very competitive plane. As it sits in rank 4, you can effectively grind up to your first jets with this plane as well. Its high dive speeds and awesome agility allow it to play aggressively, and you get premium bonuses which let you quickly grind the Japanese air tree. I've almost only used this aircraft to grind up to rank 5 in Japan. It's only taken me a total of around 15 hours of solid grinding. It might sound like a lot, but when you look at it from the perspective of finishing most of a tech tree in 15 hours, it's actually a huge benefit to the grind. I wouldn't recommend buying this plane at full face value, but on a sailor it's only 1400G. I would highly recommend buying this plane if you haven't grinded out Japan Air. Thank you very much for watching. If you made it this far, please again consider liking and subscribing if you haven't already. And if you made it this far, I'll let you know that the next video will be on the J35D Draken. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.